What's up, everybody? Metal Dave here, along with my co-host Jason McMaster, bringing you another episode of the Talk Louder podcast. Today, we are joined by guitarist Rick Hunolt. You know him best from his time with Exodus. He played on Bonded by Blood, Impact is Imminent, Fabulous Disaster, Pleasures of the Flesh, so many other great titles from Exodus. He is Bay Area thrash royalty. He's a legend, but he's here today to talk about his latest project. He's got a band called Nefarious, featuring a who's who of Bay Area thrash veterans. Caton DePena is on lead vocals from Hirax. Will Carroll from Death Angel is on drums. And Doug Piercy and Tom Gears fill out the rest of the band. Doug on guitar, Tom on bass, both from Blind Illusion, among other bands. So they got this album out, and it's they're about to start promoting it, and it's really, really cool if you're into old school thrash, the Bay Area thrash sound, the scene, whatever. Rick turned out to be such a great interview. Wow. Just a brutally honest, very forthcoming guy. We talked about a lot of things, and some of them weren't necessarily easy for him to speak about, but he did so. He was happy to talk to us, and I really enjoyed getting to know him.
Excellent interview. One of my favorites this year so far. I didn't know what to expect. You said it all. You said it best already. The lineup in this project, I'm kind of on with you guys about calling it a super group. I think that it's literally a sort of coalition, and everyone in the band is a legend, and everyone in the band in their own right is a fucking monster. Right. The list of bands that they're currently involved in or came from is half of most of our listeners' record collection. So that's enough right there for people to want to check it out. The record is available when, Dave?
Now.
It's out now. It's out now.
As you're watching.
I know they have 2 or 3 videos out now as well.
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. He gave us a list of places to find the band and the videos and the merch online.
Bandcamp, Cartel, Big Cartel, and nefarious.com, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you just Google Nefarious, or you can look up Rick on social media. You can look up Caton on social media.
Yeah,
they're promoting it there as well. Yeah,
they have plans to tour. They want to play as many shows as they can and celebrate this release. And I'm supportive 100% of thrash legends of a certain age.
Yeah,
writing new material and supporting it by playing live in any capacity. I think that it's a brethren at this point in our lives, and it goes to show these interviews that we do here that seem to be, not all of them are mirrored and the same, but this interview with Rick kind of like helps me realize that there's been quite a few people that have seen the bottom and the top. They've been to hell and they've been to the top of the mountain and been able to see clear. But usually the confession is that they have to go all the way down to the bottom and go, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing wrong? And have this realization to come back stronger. And within the scheme of things, kind of like help you realize like, oh, well, why aren't you in the band? And why'd you leave the band in X year? And why didn't you rejoin? And you've got all this new, that's part of someone's journey. And this is a prime example of everything. And there were moments in this interview where he talked for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's rare because I'm a blowhard. I talk a lot sometimes, but he talked a lot. I think your questions were great. The only time I felt like I wanted to leave the room was when you guys went off on sports. So
Well,
that's not my fault. No judgment, whatever.
Rick, as many people may know, Rick is a diehard, long-time San Francisco 49ers fan.
Yeah.
And so I had to just pick his brain a little bit because we got into some heavy topics, and I wanted to end on a light note. And to his credit, he handled those heavy topics head on, and that's one of the things. Back to your point, we do this all the time, and usually the impetus is that somebody's got a new album to promote, which is the case here today. But when someone really bears their soul and opens up and allows you to step into their brain and into their heart and get to know them as a human being and not just somebody on the back of your album cover that you've been worshiping since you were 16 years old, that's really special. And I think
he's not hiding any of his cards, man.
That's what we got today. I think we really got to know Rick. So
so I'm happy for him, and I'm in every way I'm happy for him, and that he's found his way, as well as has new music to share. The Die Humane shit sounds right up my alley.
Totally cool, man.
Yeah. So he's got a few irons in the fire. Nefarious is what we're here to talk to him about today. People go check it out.
Yeah. Rick Hunolt today on the Talk Louder podcast.
How are you, Rick?
I'm fantastic. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for joining us, man. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Sorry about the technical difficulties, bro.
Not a problem. We're used to it. We have technical difficulties all the time here. That's part of our charm.
Yeah, I hear that. That's a good way to look at it, right?
Yeah, that's what we keep telling ourselves anyway. So how are you, man? How are things?
Man, things are so busy, bro. So I just got back home from being in the Bay Area for 3 really radical days of rehearsal with everybody except for Caton. And he comes up the 15th, and then we start all the way to the 19th with vocals. But it's going well. I'm just super busy trying to make all the logistics happen with gear, getting it down to the Bay, making sure my kids get there. You know what I mean? It's a big deal.
Where is home?
Home is in Lakeport, California. I live about 2 hours north of San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Northeast, up in the mountains.
Oh, nice.
I had to get out of the city, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It's just
how long have you been up north?
10 years.
Oh,
okay.
Great.
Yeah, you probably got out at a good time.
Man, I did. I go down there and it's not the same place I grew up in. I don't get me wrong. I still love the place with all my heart. I just feel for everybody going through such difficult times, bro.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see.
Indeed. Well, we're here to talk about happy stuff. You've got a new project. Band's called Nefarious. As you mentioned, Caton DePena on vocals, yourself on guitar, Will Carroll from Death Angel on drums, and Doug Piercy and Tom Gears, also Bay Area thrash veterans in Blind Illusion, the two of them. So there's this temptation within the industry, I guess, to call something like this a super group. But to me, it just that you guys are from the same scene and have been for decades. So to me, this just seems so much more organic. So tell me how this came about and what prompted you guys to get together now and pursue this.
Yeah. Okay. So number one, it is organic, and the term supergroup is something that the press creates or whoever creates it, but whatever. I mean, call it what you will. We're just an old school thrash metal band with a lot of decades, like you said, behind us. So Tom and Doug were in Blind Illusion for about 5 or 6 years, and that ended up coming to a demise for whatever reason. So after that, Doug took a little break, and he was pondering his how he's going to move forward with the guitar. And so he started writing some material for what was going to be a solo album, right? So he gets about 2 or 3 songs deep into the process, and he needs, he wants to actually play some of this stuff with a drummer, and to try to like arrange and put these riffs he's got together and all this other stuff. So Will Carroll lives in San Francisco too. Doug is a native San Franciscan. So, and they're good friends. So he called up Will and asked him if he would, be willing to go to the studio and just and knock these songs out, right? So they started playing these songs, and they were turning out really, really good. And then, the next process as well. Now we got drums. Let's get some bass on this, man. Let's call up Tom, right? Tom is so he's available. So he starts on the process and adding his 2 cents. And then, so they're going back and forth, writing these songs. I think when I got the phone call from Doug, we've been friends for 40 years. We're really good friends. Doug did some work for Exodus, like pre-Bonded by Blood. He recorded all the demo stuff that we did before Bonded by Blood. He was actually our sound man for the very first tour we ever did for Bonded by Blood. So Doug's got a lot of history with us. So I get a call from Doug and said, dude, would you be open to maybe come down here and record some solos, on my new project? And I'm like, absolutely. Just send me some music. So he sends me some music, and I'm going, yeah, this is great, Doug. This is really cool stuff. It's got the trademark Doug Piercy, melodies and stuff. It's really good thrash, but it's also got great hooks and melody, right? So, and that's just Doug. He just writes great shit. So we ended up talking and going back and forth and discussing some of this stuff. And we're just like, we're both sitting there thinking about it. He goes, man, why don't we just maybe try to put together a project and maybe write some more music and maybe do an EP or maybe a full-blown album and see what happens. So we got together with everybody and talked, and everybody's like, Will especially is a really busy guy. Will literally plays for like 7 or 8 bands. I'm not even kidding. I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Who's he playing with?
Oh, he plays with some. He records and plays with some of these younger death metal bands from the Bay Area. So I'm not sure if he did some recording with Trencher, but he's got an old granddad, and he's got a band with his brothers that I'm not familiar with the name of. I really have a hard time keeping track of all the stuff he's doing because he's so
that's
busy.
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail it by going, wow, anybody we know? And yeah.
No, I don't think it's anybody new. Maybe soon, because some of the recordings I've been hearing are pretty promising, and they're pretty good.
Awesome.
Younger cats that don't have a lot of experience, but they're good. So we actually, after a while, we actually committed to the band. So we came up with a name, and so we start grinding the rest of this music. So when I got the call, I think there was maybe three or four, including one that we didn't make the album because of, I don't think Caden really liked the song, which we might put, later on an EP B-side or something. We'll see what happens. It's not a bad song, but it didn't make the album. So we're banging out these songs, and now me and Doug are sitting there going, damn. So Doug's got this idea. He's been going back and forth with this cat from Sweden, who is a vocalist, a really good vocalist. I'm not going to mention any names. He's a really good vocalist, but he's more on the Dickinson side of things. You know what I mean? And he doesn't really have like a thrash, DNA, for lack of a better word. So he was really good, but me and Doug were like going, who are we going to get to sing this music? Because we didn't want the, but we wanted a singer that can actually sing and we wanted someone with thrash roots, right? So last summer, me and Blind Illusion played a festival up here in my hometown of Lakeport, put on by a friend of mine, and Hirax is on the bill. Okay, so Hirax travels all the way up from LA and does the show with Blind Illusion, which I've sat in with Blind Illusion, like 4 songs. We did some Blind L songs, and we actually did a couple Exodus songs. It was awesome. And then, so keeping that in mind, we're like, man, I wonder because now the day and age of metal and thrash metal, there's so many people like working on side projects together. You know what I mean? Like collaborations and actually doing full-blown albums on the side and all this. So there's no reason why you can't approach somebody with the intent of not stealing a singer. We don't want to interrupt what you're doing with Hirax, bro, but we're just wondering if you could make the time to come up and collaborate with us and see what we can put together. Yeah. We send him the songs, and he's like, dude, this shit is badass, you know, and he's really hyped up on it. We're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, so we start writing lyrics. Start writing lyrics, and we get Caden up here for like 3 or 4 days at a time. Right? He'll come up for a weekend, Friday through Sunday. Whoa, what happened?
Lost your camera.
Oh shoot.
There you go. All good.
So he comes up. He'll get here on a Friday, and he'll leave on a Monday morning. So we got that little grip of time. So what we figured out was the best way to do it is we knocked out 2 songs every time he came up, right? So it was working perfect. We didn't overuse his voice. He had the time to do it in between his stuff he was doing in South America and all this other stuff. So a lot of the times he'd come up and he had never even seen the words, right, that he was about to sing, which is pretty challenging. I'm not going to lie. But man, this is a great thing because we said, Caden, step up to the mic, dude, and here's the lyrics, and I want you to just do whatever you want to do, bro. You've got 100% creative juices. Just shut your eyes and go, bro. We'll do it like verse at a time, whatever it takes. We'll get it recorded, and let's see what happens. And man, he knocked it out of the park, bro. Wow. He knocked it out of the park. And it wasn't like, it was a process, you know what I mean? But it wasn't painful at all. There was no egos involved. He was open to any ideas we had. And that's why I think that there was no constrictions, you know what I mean? It was like the creative flows was on both sides of the spectrum was just like really, really flowing. And it was like, so there was no, it was really, we developed a really good process and it worked fantastic. You know what I mean? And he'd come up like, I think maybe twice a month until the album was finished. Now, we had 6 songs done and we had hired marketing, publicist, and radio people. And when you hire people like that, they want dates. We need dates to have a finished product in our hands. And we're like, yeah, we know. Okay, so we made these dates and we only had 6 songs finished. So it kind of put, we had deadlines.
Yeah.
It wasn't, we didn't
like
have.
overnight you had deadlines.
Well, it wasn't due overnight, but we had a couple weeks to finish 2 songs and get them in.
I mean, it put a ceiling on it though.
Self-inflicted deadline.
Yeah, you had to go.
We had to go. So what we did is I sat in my studio and Doug sat in his studio and we each knocked out a song. Bam. And just like that, the music was done. And, you know, and Will and Tom are just straight pros. So it was no problem. So, and so the tough thing was to meet the deadline was Will was about to go out with Death Angel. And I think we had Will was like, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off, dude. And like, we can do it. Let's just do it. You know, we're going to knock this out. So Doug and Will got in the studio with the 2 finished songs, and they got them tight, and they knocked it out, and they went to Tom's and recorded it in like 2 days. And honestly, I think these are two of the best songs on the record. They turned out fantastic. They're heavy, fast, just crunchy, just really good.
Which 2 songs? Which 2 songs are we talking about?
We're talking about the Snarler and Avatar of Chaos.
Snarler's one of my favorites. I was going to ask if there was a song that came together for you guys where it all clicked and you went, okay, let's move forward. We're on to something here. Was there a song that was the catalyst to continue moving forward?
Yeah, was it one of those 2 last songs, or was it an earlier out of the 6?
No, I think okay, when I first got into the program, the situation, I think One Nation, Enslaved, Addicted to Power, and Master Plan, I think we're done.
It's another good one.
Okay, that sounds, yeah.
So, and after and that was before my solos, and I wrote the harmonies for, I wrote all the harmonies and stuff for One Nation. One Nation was finished, but Doug called me one day, he goes, dude, I think we need some harmony sections in One Nation. I'm like, okay, I'll call you in a little bit. So I went to the studio and I sat down with it and I wrote the harmony sections. And then I was like, ever since when I heard those 3 songs finished, I'm like, yeah, I think that we're on to something. But you never listen, dude. In this business, you never know what people are gonna like. You never know.
No.
And we'll go on in this interview. We'll talk about like how the feeling, the recording of the first video, One Nation,
Master Plan.
One Nation Enslaved.
Oh, okay.
The real like filmed on an iPhone, black and white, just us jamming in the studio. That was stressful, but we'll get into that. Yeah, I think from when I first heard the music, I was like, yeah, this is something else. And then everything started rolling, and it turned out to be really cool. Yeah, but Snarler and and Avatar of Chaos turned out really great. They're all good. I like them all.
Yeah, they are. And, one of the things when I listen to it, what I appreciate is that I hear, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but a lot of modern thrash just goes for speed and blast beats and all that stuff and kind of loses the foundation of heavy metal. And to me, thrash was built on heavy metal, and today's thrash is just thrash for the sake of thrash. And what I like about what I'm hearing with Nefarious is you can still hear the metal in there, and it's certainly got the thrash elements as sort of window dressing and flavor and that sort of thing. But you can tell that you guys grew up listening to metal and, have sort of decorated it with thrash.
100%, 100%. I call it thrash with class. Okay. We have this thing called thrash metal that obviously comes from the old school of British Motorhead,
Yes,
Priest, Iron Maiden. It goes on and on. Those are our roots,
Right.
as guitar players, as musicians, right? So that's just the age group we grew up in. When I first started playing guitar, there was no such thing as thrash metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I joined Exodus, and we were one of the, I guess, pioneers or whatever you want to call it. But this is my opinion on what you just said about the blast beats and stuff like that. So when you have music is 100% subjective, number one.
Sure.
My feeling on music is I love all music. I don't judge music.
That's how we are. Yeah.
There's no better. There's no worse. It's music. It's art. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that being said, I think that the blast beats and the new metal and the kids doing that, dude, there's some angry kids out there, bro. Yeah. And they're young and they're using their instruments as weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's their way of crying, bro, because people are upset. It's difficult out here. It's their way of saying, look at me, man. Fuck, dude, this is crazy. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I don't care.
Yeah.
Because this is where we were coming from in the early days of Exodus. We were angry, bro. We were broke. We were working hard, man. And we were young. We were partying our asses off. We really didn't agree what was going on with society and everything and all that. And you can hear it on our songs. That's all. So, but I agree 100% that the roots from our roots absolutely comes through huge in our music today. And honestly, me and Doug and Will and Tom and Caton, we're bona fide thrash musicians. That's what we do.
For sure.
When I pick up a guitar and I plug into my amp and I hit a drum beat and I start writing music, it's naturally what happens. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So, that's it. But it's fun to watch it. It's fun. It's actually really fun to watch it all. I went and saw these bands. Don't ask me the names of them because I don't know. But there's some good talent coming out of the Bay Area right now they're thrash. They're really, really good.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that's always been a hotbed, and in my time on this earth, and I always say this a lot. I talked to people. I talked to Harry O a couple of days ago, and I have this sort of like romance with the Bay Area thrash scene. Like it's such a beautiful sort of like birthing of so many things. But then you just forget about thrash for 2 seconds. The Bay Area has always been this artistic, totally different, on its own sort of sailing ship, right? It's an island of incredible rock music and artistry, and it's an incredible. And then rock and roll starts to change. Late 70s, early 80s, and then this thrash thing, and the Bay bands going to LA, and the LA bands going, and now it's just almost connected. So the fact that fast forward to now you have, Caton playing with these legendary Bay Area thrash dudes.
Yeah.
And so
From
you're
LA
kind of
coming up like this, right? Just like you said.
Yeah.
Because and it even goes internal. Okay, so we have LA, and where Metallica came from, and then they came up to the Bay, and they actually sprouted their roots here with us.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of Kirk and Exodus or whatever. So now we got Caton come up to LA, and it's really interesting because it even goes a little deeper than that, because so in my era, when I first joined Exodus, there was the Bay Area threat. There was a Bay Area, but it wasn't called thrash. We called it speed metal back then. So this is crazy. Gary and Tom are from San Pablo, which is about 20 minutes up the highway east.
And you mean Tom Hunting?
Yes, sir. And I'm from Berkeley, right? But Berkeley is its own little thing, and then we have San Pablo, Richmond, San Francisco across the bay, Oakland over here. But all of those. So when I joined Exodus, that brought Berkeley, the Berkeley crowd, my friends, and the San Pablo people together. And then you have the people that actually had almost as much, if not more, to do with the spreading of thrash metal in the city was Brian Liu, Sam Kress, Ron Quintana, that didn't even play music, but they were responsible for trading the tapes and getting us our music across the pond.
Yes.
Which in my mind, if there is ever a thrash metal Hall of Fame, they're the first three guys that go into that bad boy.
1,000%.
1,000%, because
and Murder in the Front Row, the film, as well as the book.
Harold, because he's one of my closest friends, and he has everything to do with it. I say this once a month. Without Sam Kress, Brian Liu, and Ron Quintana, who the hell knows what thrash would be right now? you know, and Lars was deep into that tape trading scene too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
they got it heard. This is before the internet. This is before Wi-Fi or any of that shit, dude. So imagine how difficult that was. Fanzines, lots of communications with letters, sending tapes overseas. Imagine that was difficult, but
Yeah.
and it took a lot of commitment and it took a lot of passion. You know what I mean?
This is all of the shopping list you just sort of vomited out is exactly where I come from. So I like to, this is not a backpedal or a throw forward. It's exactly what we're talking about at this point is
Absolutely.
the fact that every scene, you know, we're in Texas, New York, Jersey, LA, San Francisco, if you will. Those are that's enough to even just explain what I'm talking about. The same thing that was happening to you guys on some kind of level, not contest at all. What's happening in all three coasts? You know, they call Texas the third coast.
Dude.
Right.
I mean, this is absolute facts. I will never forget the first tour we ever did on Bonded by Blood, and we were in a van. And I don't even think Bonded was released yet, but I had a freaking final tape. And we went back east, and I'm sitting in Central Park with Scotty Ian and Dan Lilker. And I put it in Scott's radio. It might have been Dan's radio, I'm not sure. I put it in, and it was the first time they'd ever heard Bonded by Blood. And we were doing shows with Venom, I think, at Slayer, I think. And this is the first time that the West Coast had actually heard Bonded by. I mean, the East Coast had actually experienced Bonded by Blood. They'd heard the buzz was pretty big. You know what I mean? But it was like I said, you know, like we said, it was all mailed and crossing. But they lost their minds, bro. And I hope that Scott remembers this one day. I hope he hears this and remembers this. He'll go, "Yeah, dude, I remember," because that was a pretty killer day, you know. And that was like when East Coast and West Coast. Because you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you something about Texas too, that you mentioned Texas about that, because Felix from DRI.
That's He's
Felix
from here.
DRI.
He's from here.
He's from absolutely.
Austin.
Good friend of mine, dude. We did many shows with DRI, with the Felix era of DRI. Yeah. And to me, that's the real DRI. Mine is Harold.
Dealing with it.
Absolutely.
The Dealing with It album. Yeah.
Absolutely. And he was dealing with it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what's up, Felix? Big shout out to Felix.
Yeah, he's the man. He needs to see this. I'm going to hit him up and tell him that you were sending love.
Absolutely. Oh, please do, because we have history back then, and we were all young, dumb, and full of metal, dude. And you know what I mean. And that's just where that is.
So I don't want to make this all about Exodus, but since we're talking about the scene and where you came from, obviously everyone knows that you replaced Kirk Hammett in an early version of Exodus. I assume you were friendly with Kirk at the time. Did he recommend you, or did you guys know each other? Or
let me real quick go I'll make a really long story short. So I had never met Kirk Hammett. I had never heard of Metallica. I had never heard of Exodus. Okay. I got a call from Exodus's manager at the time, is a really good friend of mine from Berkeley named Adam Segan. Called me up because he knew I played guitar and he knew I was really committed and I was really into it, but I wasn't in a band. He called me up one day and he goes, "Dude, I have it. My band that I'm managing right now needs a couple cabinets, Marshall cabinets, to borrow for this show at the Keystone Berkeley." And dude, I wasn't even 21 years old. I don't think I was even old enough to get into Keystone Berkeley, to tell you the truth. And I said, "Yeah, sure, dude. Just put me in, make sure I can get in the show and check it out and meet the guys or whatever. No problem. I'll deliver them whenever you need them, because Berkeley Keystone is literally a mile from my house." You know what I mean? So Adam was a great friend. So yeah, I did that, hung out with the guys, watched the show. And I was just like, I had never heard music this fast. I was just like, whoa, this is like punk rockers with long hair. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm a skater. I hang out with, the people I grew up with in Berkeley were like Sammy from Fang and Millions of Dead, MDC,
Yeah.
and and all these old guys, Black Flag, and I was a
Punk rock skaters.
metal guy, but it was because of skateboarding, it was all being smushed together.
Yeah,
It's crazy skateboards.
Yeah, the earliest versions of crossover were born from that sort of germ you're talking about.
Pretty much think it was all because of skateboarding. To tell you,
I would agree with that.
In my life, that's my experience.
Dogtown, yeah.
So and Sammy's from Berkeley, and he was like detrimental to the punk rock scene in the Bay Area. Holy shit, he's a legend. Still is. But anyway, so and then 2 days later, after that show's over and done, I'm sitting at home or wherever, and I get a call from Adam again, and he goes, "Dude, how would you like to go jam with those guys, Exodus?" I'm like, "Wow, really?" And I'm like, "Why not? Why not?"
Right.
I had never heard Exodus or none of this type of crazy metal they were playing. And so I got my truck and I got my amp and I drove down the highway about 20 minutes and I pull up in front of Gary's house in San Pablo. Really modest home, man. Great family. His mom and dad are just so cool. And he comes walking down the driveway and he goes, "What's up, dude?" And his dad is from Oklahoma, so Gary naturally had this really weird Southern draw, kind of what seemed to me to be, and I was like, kind of, "Whoa, dude, where are you from?" But anyway, long story short, the jam went killer. It was awesome. Me and Gary made friends instantly, and Tom too, and Bailoff, and we just became brothers instantly, man. It was like crazy. So we just kept playing and Gary gave me a tape to the music, so I'd go to work in this office building. I was an office boy at this law firm, and I would be downstairs like destroying files in a paper shredder and cleaning up shit and organizing stuff and fixing stuff and doing all this stuff. But I'd really be down there playing guitar to the tape, to my Rockman, at the time, and trying to learn these freaking songs, dude, that were so fast. And I'm like, holy shit, And so we booked the first gig at Wolfgang's, and we're supporting Loudness, dude. My first show ever in my whole life, supporting Loudness. Akira Tagasaki, dude.
Yes.
Legend.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes. So hold on a second, Rick, if I may. I'm sorry. What year is this that you got the call for the cabinets, and then you got, what year is it, 83?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and probably maybe someone will correct me on this.
That's fine.
I'm going to say early 83.
Okay, love it. Now, when was this Loudness? Sorry, Dave, what?
First of all, they called you down to jam, but when was there like a formal offer to join the band? Because all of a sudden you're Loudness.
You know what? I really, honestly, I cannot remember and a legit, this is how I think it was just, we clicked so hard and so naturally and so awesome. Just putting the guitar aside, putting all music aside.
Personalities. We
just clicked as friends. And to this day, honestly, is like, and I want to go out and I want to say this for the kids. I think in the young talent and young bands today, the hardest thing for these guys is to find some people that they actually get along with. You know what I mean? And I think the word that we always used back then was longevity. It was more important for us to get along and be able to work together than to be like the best guitarist in the world. You know what I mean? It was like, that was our way. The chemistry was more important than being Yngwie. You know what I'm saying? So we grew together as musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where where the magic lied, And I want to tell the younger bands trying to struggle through this whole trying to get along and write music and try to keep egos out of it. Just make sure that you guys like each other first. You know what I mean? And then you can go, and then you can move on to writing and being able to put your ego in your pocket. Who cares who writes the riff, bro? We're a team. You know what I mean? It's a team. There's no I in team.
Right.
Please, you guys.
Right.
It's a team. It makes try to come to some kind of resolution where nobody gets more than anybody else. You know,
Right.
So you don't want to create the bug, the evil of animosity in your band in the beginning, because it grows, and animosity is the breaker of all bands. You know what I mean? And try to keep the women out of it.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I'm not real, bro. Respect all the girlfriends and all this other stuff, but keep them out of the band situation, bro. You know, if you're not ready to commit 1,000% to the band, maybe you're not cut out for it. Maybe you're not. You know, because it takes you. We always used to say band before food, because we were broke, dude, and we were struggling really hard. And we had to practice, and we had to write music, and we gave up our jobs, and we slept on friends' couches, and it was a struggle. I'm telling you, it was not easy, but it's what had to happen.
Yeah. Well, you made it work, man. Obviously, the history books will show that you made it work.
Well, with the help, we get by with a little help from our friends.
Yeah, of course.
You had me at Loudness for a moment. The reason I ask what year that
I think
Exodus
that was 84.
supporting.
I think that was 84.
Okay, let's talk about Loudness in 84. I mean, what record were they touring? It was their first time through America, wasn't it?
It was probably their first record. I don't even know what it's called. Akira. I know that they had a huge buzz, and Akira was the Eddie Van Halen in Japan at the time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even think they spoke English at all.
I think it was the record they had was Devil Soldier, which would have been their second or third record.
That was probably it. They came over the first. I'm not even sure. I'm going to go out. I'm going to say that Mike Varney brought them over here, but I'm not sure.
Highly possible.
Because he brought Ingve here, you know, and he brought a lot of the talent from overseas, wherever it may be over. But I do know it was with Loudness, and I do know it was sold out, and I do know that it scared the living crap out of me, bro. It was the first show, and I literally, first time I ever wore spandex in my life. Oh my God.
Far out.
No, I'm not even kidding. I'm being real 100%. You know what I mean?
Love it, dude.
So, oh my God, so crazy. And I see pictures from that. And I had my hair was long, but I had a permanent, and it was all curly.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
those photos. Yeah,
dude, it was just like, I'm sure on my deathbed, when they say that when you die, all these memories go past your head, your face, that's going to be one of them, dude. And I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it, because I spent most of the time with my back like to the audience. I was freaked out, bro. And I will tell you that day, that night, that hour, and that hour of time in my life was the most. I learned so much watching Gary and Paul that night. And I just took that knowledge and I made it mine, dude. And I turned into Rick Hunolt that night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crying, dude. It's crazy.
I love it, man. I love it. You should be proud, and it's a moment that it's important.
I've never been in front of people like that playing guitar, and Gary and Paul were just so aggressive and just in their face, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Wow, that's great.
Good for you, man. Good for
awesome.
you.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it.
If you're going to cut your teeth, there's not many ways better to do it than with Gary and Paul opening for Loudness.
I mean, the kids used to say, "Shit just got real for you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's all good.
Better shit just got real, bro.
Yeah, you're on stage opening with this new band that you're in, Exodus, opening for Loudness.
I've been in the band for like 3 weeks, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. So what else are you going to do except like freak out and go, oh shit, just got real.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's amazing. So here we are, Nefarious. You're back at it.
40
you're
years later.
chopping wood.
Still doing it though.
Yeah. We're all a little bit older now. You got your chops down. You got your songwriting skills. You know how to, someone, hey, we need harmonies. Okay. Right to the studio. The stories you're telling us about how this came together and how the songs were put together and everything.
And to be honest, this is the first band besides Die Humane, but we've never performed live. But Die Humane is responsible for getting me back getting me off my ass and pick up the freaking guitar, dude.
Good.
And I love it for that. And we got new music coming out in the fall with some really killer collaborations. You're going to trip on really hard. It's really good and it's very, very cool. As crazy as it ever was, but the collaborations that people are just going to go, whoa, that's crazy, but it's badass.
I wanted to ask about that because I knew that was part of your recent history, Die Humane, and it's different than people might expect from you. And I read somewhere that the band was formed or originated from Galveston, Texas.
No, that's where the bass player, the guy who actually put the band together, and he doesn't live in Galveston anymore. But when I joined the band, the keyboard player and him lived in Galveston, and that's where most of the music was written.
Wow. I used to live in Galveston, so that caught my attention.
For photo sessions and video shoots, dude. And let me tell you, bro, it almost killed me, bro.
Yeah.
The weather was just insane. Humidity and heat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hot, humid. It's like you step outside and
it's an island off the coast of Texas, man. It doesn't get any more humid and hot than that.
Walk out the front door, you could cut the air.
Bro. Yeah. It was ridiculous. It's a whole different mindset walking out that door, bro.
Tell me, how does a guy like you connect with some dudes from Galveston and then tell people that aren't aware what the music sounds like, because it is kind of different for you?
No, it absolutely. And that's the only reason I wanted to do it, because it was different. I wasn't trying to, at the time, I wasn't trying to play thrash. I wanted to play something different to get my creative juices flowing, and just because I hadn't really played in like 10 years, man. And I got a call from my dear friend Steve from Skin Lab. He goes, Ricky, he calls me Ricky. He goes, Ricky, man, I got these guys. I just heard this fucking music. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I just heard this freaking music from these friends of mine who just shot the Skin Lab. Josh does videos for bands. Who just shot this video for Skin Lab, and these guys are writing this crazy music with these keyboards and violins and saxophones and these down-tuned guitars that are savage, bro. You need to hear this stuff. They're looking for a guitar player, man. Would you be interested at all? And I said, Steve, it's been a long, long time. I appreciate the call. What? Go ahead and send it over. So he sent me 2 songs. And it took me, I didn't even listen to it for a couple of weeks. I'm sitting down and I'm going through my phone. I'm like, oh shit, Steve sent me this music. And if Steve is, he's got a lot of experience in music. He's a musician. He's committed. He works so hard. He's got different, he's got a really diverse taste in music. And I'm like, man, let me check this out. So I put it on. I'm listening to the first song that I heard from them was called Ghost. And I don't know if you've heard the album, but it's got these huge hooks and all this crazy things going around. And I'm like, wow, this is nuts, dude. This is really good. I loved it. So and the other song was called Oblivion, which turned out to be the first single that we did. And I'm like, man, I instantly gave it to my kids and listen to this shit, you guys, listen to this. They're like, dude, this is pretty fucking killer. This is really good. So I asked the kids what they thought about me, because it might lead to taking some time away from you guys and I might be gone for a while. I might be, you know, I might have to go to Texas and record and do all this stuff. And they're like, God, Dad, go ahead, please, dude, play it. You know, so I started picking up the guitar and learning these songs. And in that process, I had to go buy some new gear, and I had to, because I didn't have much gear. I had to update my sound, really, and I had to reconnect with who I was on the guitar, dude. Which was a fun process, I'll tell you. But it just, you know, it just gave me the love for the instrument back, and I'm just so indebted to Die Humane for that. And I'm, you know, we're still a band, and we plan on still getting in a room and playing some shows, hopefully, if we can make it happen. That's not going to be easy because that music is difficult. There's a lot going on, and there's like 9 or 10 people in the room going to be, and it's going to be crazy. We'll see if we can pull it off. But yeah, you know, hats off to my brothers, Greg and Garrett. Garrett is such an incredible singer. Oh my God, he's, you know, all these guys.
Now we all have to go find it and listen.
I listened to some of it, and it was really interesting because, you know, I hear there's Pink Floyd, there's Type of
dude, it's my favorite band, dude. Pink Floyd is like one of my favorite bands on earth, dude. David Gilmour is like one of my top 3 guys in the whole world. Seriously.
Amazing, right?
You know what I mean? And literally,
it's very atmospheric and dark, but
then here come those drop B guitars that are just like, you know what I mean? Along with all this crazy serendipity, like violins and sax and keyboards. It's really, dude. I mean, if you like strange, beautiful music, you'll like Die Humane. You know what I mean? Just keep an open mind.
That's a good way to put it. Strange, beautiful music. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's really good. There's some really good songs on there, man. That I love. It.
Yeah. So I was, you know, doing my research on you, trying to find the stuff that I didn't already know. And one of the things that I didn't know, and I don't know if you want to talk about this, and if you don't, that's fine. But I think I read somewhere that at one point in your life, you kind of hit rock bottom and walked away from music.
I have no problem talking about that. Reason being,
what was your rock bottom moment?
Well, let me just say, I have no problem talking about that. Reason being is because if one person on this planet hears my story, dude, and it helps them, then I'm all in, 100%. And I've said this a million times on many different interviews, but I was a freaking mess, dude. I was addicted to meth. We all were. Okay. Gary got clean before I did. And I tell you something about Gary Holt and how much we love each other. So we came back from, I'm not sure what year, what tour, but it was like before Temple of the Dam. We went out and we did some shows in Europe, and we came back. And I mean, I could go on and on and on about touring, being a drug addict. It's very, very difficult, dude. And we were a mess, man. And Gary got clean before I did. But in that process, he never came at me. I was still in the band. This is before Temple of the Dam. During that process, he never came at me like, dude, if you don't stop doing dope, I'm going to kick you out of the band. You're a piece of shit, yada, yada, yada. You need to get your shit together. He never came at me like that, dude. Right. I knew what I had to do, but I was having a really, really hard time doing it. Because I was sick. I was really sick. And, you know, so we start writing the music for Temple of the Damned, and we go into track it, right? And you know, I'm showing up late. You know, I do some of the best guitar playing I ever played on that album. I tell you, but to this day, when I go back and I hear some of the solos that I did on that album, I'm just like, holy shit, dude. Wow. This dude was in pain, bro, and I can hear it in my solos. It's just crazy, but it turns into some like really emotional, insanely. For me, it was just some of the best shit I ever recorded for that band was on that album. But that being said, I kind of knew it was going to be my time in Exodus was coming to a halt. You know, I had to stop and I had to help Rick Hunolt. And I wasn't going to be able to do it with the band, dude. I needed to be away from all of that and just start new friends. I had 2 little boys that needed a dad, bro. And they needed him like now, please. It was time. So I stepped away, and it was the hardest thing I ever did. I've said this in interviews. One day I woke up and I was not in Exodus anymore. And that was the most craziest, insane, rock bottom moment of my life. You know, when I gave away 20, 30 years of my life for something that was Exodus was my life for 30 years, bro. Yeah. Or however long. It still is. You know, I'm still a big part of the band. Just on the back, not out front. They're my best friends, and they will always support me. But you know, it was super difficult. I had to, you know, I woke up one day, I wasn't in Exodus, and I had to reinvent myself super quick. I had to go out and learn how to make money. I worked at the Dollar Tree for 3 years, bro. You know, because I needed money, you know, and I didn't have the skills. I was a builder, but I didn't necessarily have the skills to go out and be a journeyman carpenter. You know, I'm good at fixing shit, but whatever. So a friend of mine, I moved to the town of Lakeport, and I was working at the Dollar Tree, and this guy comes in the store, and he's got I'm cashiering, and I had a line all the way down the back of the store, and this kid comes in, and he has a cover of Pleasures of the Flesh, and he waits in line, and he comes up and he goes, "Dude, is this you?" And I said, "Yeah, dude, but I'm really busy right now. Why don't you come back after work and we'll hang out?" So long story short, his dad had a huge ranch up in the mountains in Lakeport, and they put me to work. And wow. I learned how to grow weed, you know, and for the next 10 years, I grew cannabis, you know, and I did really, really well. I was really good at it, man. And I grew some of the best weed in this planet. Literally, we grow the best weed on this planet, dude. And that's back before the bottom fell out of the whole market. But I did really well for myself, man. I was able to buy a house. I was able to put some money away and concentrate on myself and getting my health back. And this is before Die Humane gave me the call, and I wasn't playing, but I was going to shows periodically, and I never lost. I didn't even have a Facebook account, dude. It's crazy. This is before Facebook and IG, to me anyway. I just worked my ass off to get what I needed for my kids, but you know what I mean? So that's, in a nutshell, that's basically what happened. Yeah. So it was difficult, but I'm here and I'm happy, and I'm in a new band and I'm crushing it, and we're super happy, and just, dude, everything's going the way it's supposed to go. Good things happen to good people, and I go out of my way to try to be a good person, you know, and
thanks.
Good. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that was
everything that happened to you, whether you expected it or wanted it to or manifested it or anything like that. You know, they say that stupid saying, you know, everything happens for a reason, man.
No,
you know,
it doesn't. You learn. You get the hope. You get the hope back because. Right. And the confidence, because in that sickness, dude, your confidence is at the null, because you're carrying so much guilt. I'm high on these drugs, but I'm around my kids. Oh my God, what am I doing, dude? The guilt that you carry. So I got arrested, dude, and I was looking at a prison term, and I called my dad from jail, and I'm like, "Dad, I need some help, and I need to go to a program, or else I'm going to go to a prison, dude." I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't do anything really bad. I just got hooked up with some bad shit, dude. Anyway, so my dad goes, "Okay, I'm going to bail you out, and you're going to go to a program." So I went to a program for a year. Sat there for a year, worked the steps, and I never looked back, ever. I never relapsed. I never looked back. I just
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. But I was done. You know, you have to, the first step in the 12-step process, you have to surrender. You have to admit to yourself and everybody in the world that you're sick as hell and that you need help, bro. And I had no problem doing that, dude. Because
imagine if you had zero guilt. Imagine if you just didn't have that mechanism at all.
I'd be dead.
You would be
Exactly.
you would be just a fucking eating monster. You would be of pure evil. You would have no.
In NA, I hate the cliches, but I will absolutely. Addiction leads to prison or death.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that's the absolute facts. That's where my personal experience, that's where I would have been if I didn't get my head out of my ass, dude.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
we're glad you did, man.
You have to learn how to read. You have to learn how to love yourself, dude. That it's the self-love, you know, and that's the only thing that's going to save you, bro. You just have to love yourself, man. And out on the streets, being homeless and doing that shit and chasing that bag is not loving yourself, bro.
Well, you figured it out.
There, dude, anybody out there that needs help, hit me up on my DMs, bro. I'm easy to find. Hundreds of kids have hit me up, and I've done this so many times. You know, I'll talk to you, dude. And you're worth being happy, and there it is, there, dude. It's just, you can. If I can do it, you can do it. Period.
Good man.
Yeah.
Rick. Good man.
I love it.
Well, listen, I want to end on a light note.
Yes, please.
I understand that you're a huge San Francisco 49ers fan.
Oh, man.
And obviously,
and also go Giants, buddy.
I see that also. Yeah. Now, obviously, San Francisco has had a number of Hall of Fame, amazing football players throughout the franchise history. But in your opinion, who is the one 49er that's the most underrated?
Underrated. Yeah. Oh, shit. Here we go. From all eras since I've been a fan.
That's
we'll
right.
go before Montana era all the way up to the Purdy era. Let's go. Roger Craig.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to say because Ronnie Lott and Jerry Rice aren't underrated.
Not underrated. They're great.
Not underrated.
Not
You said underrated.
Correct. Underrated.
So I'm going to go, dude, that's a tough call, bro.
That's why I asked. And you're the fan.
Steve Young came up as number 2. He's not underrated though, because he's got Bulls. He's got Super Bowl. I'm going to say
Roger Craig. I think we lost him just at the end of the discussion.
He's frozen. Yeah.
See if he comes back.
It'd be worth the wait.
Yeah. Hey, you're back.
Welcome back. Yeah,
so
we
sorry,
tease him a
dude.
lot. Welcome back. Yeah, we tease him a lot, but we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Yeah, dude.
Thanks.
That's all good, man. You answered the question. Roger Craig was your most underrated.
I just wanted to say, dude, thank you so much. And sorry for the mishaps. And can I plug the record?
Yes, absolutely. That's
why we're here. Yeah.
July 18th, Hectic Records, Nefarious, Addicted to Power.
Yes.
Featuring 5 of some old school geezers from the Bay Area.
Best kind.
Yeah, we're going to be, if you're a Bay Area guy, everybody knows about the DNA show the 19th. Come hang out with us. It's going to be, we got Defiance and Hellfire, and then we got an after party upstairs with Vorlust, which is free. We'll have CDs, vinyls, merch, all that. So we're good.
Where can people buy the album?
NefariousBand.com.
Perfect.
Nefarious Band, Big Cartel, Bandcamp, anywhere.
Good deal. Yeah, by the time people are watching and listening to this, the album will already be out. We won't get this episode out for a couple weeks after.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
After post-production.
But you were given an advanced copy, correct?
Yes. We've heard the record.
Let's talk about that.
Snarler, you mentioned it earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
It's becoming one of my favorites to play too. It's so fun, bro.
Yeah, I love that song. The title got my attention. I just thought it was a cool sounding title, and then I heard the music, and I was like,
crazy. He goes, so he wrote that song, and I wrote Avatar. There's the last two songs that we needed. We were rushed up, like I said. Then he wrote the lyrics to that about some crazy horror, like some crazy being under your bed and just nightmares. So it cracked me up at first. I was just like, you really do? Okay, fine. That's fine. Let's do it. So, I mean, it adds a little spice to the record. It's awesome.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that one got my attention right away. The title, you can't go wrong with the title track. Master Plan. I mean, it's chock full of great songs, and anyone that appreciates the old school Bay Area thrash or old school thrash in general, man, it's gonna totally be something you want to pick up. And Caton, everything he's involved in, dude, he's such a lifer, that people are drawn to him.
That's why he got the call, bro, because he is a lifer, and he's kind of like an ambassador of this genre of music.
Yes, absolutely.
He's super cool. It's great to have him aboard. Honestly, I hope everything works out perfectly. I just really do. Because he's busy, we're busy. Death Angel, it's just we're gonna have to juggle some stuff, but everybody in this band is committed 1,000% to make that happen. So we got great management. We're on our way to getting an agent, and we'll see what happens. We want to hit the road and play as many shows as possible because we're going to be an incredible live band. I know that for sure.
Yeah, man. We will look out for you in Texas and elsewhere. And again, the album is called Addicted to Power. The band is called Nefarious. Great old school thrash. And Rick, we do appreciate your time today. On behalf of my co-host, Jason McMaster, I'm Metal Dave, along with our special guest today, Rick Hunolt from Nefarious, Exodus, Die Humane, and the Bay Area thrash rock royalty, of course.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.